Well, welcome back to Desert Smoke Reviews. This is Justin.
Monty.
And Wyatt.
Tonight we're coming at you with the Diesel Rage. It's a beautiful box press Toro. Nice kind of medium brown wrapper. Not too hard on the box press. Kind of rounded edges, but overall looks like a wonderful stick. Firm, but after I've clipped it, I already took a dry draw to see if the power was going to be in. Relatively good draw, so I'm not too worried. Seams look good. No veins. Overall looks just like a well-constructed stick. Aroma, I don't get a whole lot off, but I kind of get like a mild sweet tobacco. Not a whole lot off the wrapper. And then off the foot for me, the same thing, but add a little bit of that cocoa powder, like you just popped open the powdered cocoa. But overall, looks good.
Yeah, I agree. It is a nice looking stick. It doesn't have that sharp, hard cornered box press to it, but it is mine is very firm. It's almost too firm, but it's all right. I always wonder if the box press is too sharp, if they're going to burn even. Sometimes they don't. So maybe this one will be okay, but it's a really nice cigar. There's a couple little veins and a couple seams you can see, and it's got a little bit of that toothiness, that sandpaper feel to it, but they didn't waste any time on the band on this one. It's not much to talk about, but whatever. Off the wrapper, it's just got some nice tobacco notes, maybe a little tea notes to it, but nothing real strong. And for me, I think Justin did nail it on the head. If you remember when you were young, those square metal tins of Nestle Quick Powder, it's like popping the metal lid off that thing, and that little puff of cocoa powder you'd get out right in your nose, and that's what the foot of this thing really smells like. So all in all, not bad. Really nice.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've had a couple of the Diesel cigars before, and typically they don't go for much presentation-wise, like Monty said, the bands tend to be just kind of slapped on there. But this cigar itself, I mean, it's just a gorgeous-looking cigar. The box press is perfect, and the wrapper is really, really oily, and it's got a good consistency to it. I wouldn't say it's too firm, but it's just nice and firm, and yeah, pretty much everything else what they said, but it looks like a good cigar.
Let's get it lit up.
Before anybody gives me any shit, it's still February. I know these tough guys are wearing shorts, but it's still February. I'm just saying.
No, you got jackets, man.
I got a lamb suit shirt and a heater back there if I get cold.
It's unseasonably warm today, but it's still cool tonight.
Expected a little bit more of a pepper hit. I definitely still pick up a lot of pepper. I just kind of anticipated a lot of pepper. Coming from the name, I guess, Rage. But it's actually relatively smooth. Definitely picked up some pepper on the back of my throat.
Mm-hmm. Right at the back of my tongue, I get that pepper.
Yeah.
Not real harsh.
It definitely builds. It's a very relatively long finish. And so it kind of just adds, every time I take a puff, it adds more pepper to my tongue. Not that it's bad. It's not reached the overwhelming point. Now I know these have about a month age on them, and when I first smoked them, I thought they were a little harsh. It's definitely smoothed out. So if you do pick these up, I already recommend you give them a little bit of time.
Yeah.
The finish reminds me of is graham cracker. Did you get that?
What kind of fucking graham cracker did you eat that has pepper on it?
Well, it's like it's a pepper graham cracker.
Oh, okay.
I don't get graham crackers, man. Sorry.
That's exactly what it tastes like.
I just get a lot of pepper and tobacco.
Yeah.
The tobacco in a cigar. Now look, I'm no expert here.
Yeah. Well,
It's like getting
it's like
grapes
tasting
and
the
wine.
Yeah, it's almost like tasting the
Great
grapes.
minds think alike.
Well, let's if there's anything else, let's get into the first third, approach the 10-minute mark, and see what we get. Well, welcome back. We're about 10 minutes into this Diesel Rage. For me, right off the burn's almost perfect. It's performing exceptionally well. Ash is holding on good. It's probably a medium to full in body. It's packing a little bit of a punch to me. Flavors really haven't changed. The pepper's died down, but it's still there. Mostly I'm just getting kind of a dark tobacco and a little bit of that pepper. Not a whole lot going on for me, but it's a good cigar.
Yeah, I agree. It's burning pretty dang well. And the peppers died down, but it went from like a 9 to a 6 for me. It's still there, and especially on the back of my tongue, it's very prominent. But it's just a really dark flavored cigar. You know, like Justin said, you know, dark tobacco, heavy tobacco, whatever. I don't get a whole lot else off of it though. You know, there's not a lot of complexity to it. It's a medium bodied, but it's more of a darker, fuller flavor.
Yeah, pretty much what Monty said. Not a very long-lasting finish. You know, there's a lot of pepper on the Retro Hill for me, but that's really the only distinct flavor that I'm getting off of this cigar. It's not bad, but there's just not a whole lot going on.
All right, well, let's get into the second third, approach the midpoint, see if we get any changes. Well, welcome back. We're at the second half of the Diesel Rage. Burn has kind of went pretty wonky for me. I've had one touch up. I'm probably going to have to do another. The ash is holding on well, but it's just not burning well. Still kind of that medium to full body for me. It's definitely packs a little punch. The peppers actually picked up again for me. Sitting on the back of my throat and the tongue. It's not overwhelming, but it's approaching overwhelming. Still relatively smooth. A lot of that dark tobacco as well, but nothing really to update you on. As in, it's pretty one-dimensional in my opinion, but it's not a horrible cigar.
Yeah, I agree. My burn stayed pretty good, and then that's a little pet peeve of mine, if I may, and this isn't directed at Justin because he doesn't do this, but those of you that feel you need to touch up your cigar every 37 seconds, here's a tip. Cut the shit. It's annoying. Moving on. Justin nailed it on the head. There's nothing superlative about it. It's very one-dimensional. It's just kind of that dark, peppery sameness, if you will. Right?
Yeah, pretty. You know, it sucks being the third guy because it's already been said, and on this occasion, it's already been said. Except I don't get the pepper that it seems you guys are getting. To me, it's actually more mild to medium as opposed to medium. I just, you know, on the Retro Hill, I still get a lot of pepper, but other than that, I really don't.
Well, let's get into the final third, approach the nut point, and see if we get any changes. And welcome back. We're at the final third, basically the numb point in this Diesel Rage. Nothing to really update on. To me, the cigar was one-dimensional. Just had those two flavors, a lot of pepper, and that dark tobacco. I will say, if you do have a few of these or you want to try them, give them about a month. It definitely smooths them out. When I first tried them, they were very harsh. And the only kind of saving grace to me on this smoke is the fact that it's relatively smooth comparative to what it was a month ago. The burn has gotten a little better. It's still a little wonky. Ash is holding on. Still that medium to full body. But it's just not really my taste. The pepper, as you know throughout my videos, or our videos, I'm not big into the pepper sticks. This just has a little too much for me. It never reached that 10, that overwhelming, but it just wasn't my flavor. If I was going to rate it, I'd give it like a 6.5 because it just wasn't my flavor. And it never really had that wow factor or anything that made me want to say, oh, I'm going to go out and smoke this tomorrow, or if I see it in the shop, I want to smoke this. It's something I would probably pass on, and I think I still got another 5 or 6 of them, and it's just not something I'm going to smoke again. So, yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, I largely agree with Justin. This is just not a cigar to my liking. It's just been pepper the whole way through of varying degrees. The construction on mine's good. You know, I've touched it up maybe once the whole time. The ash has been, you know, really a thick, heavy ash. You know, it's kind of dark, but it's definitely very heavy. It doesn't fall off or flake off. But it's just too dark and too peppery, and it doesn't change. It didn't get better. It didn't get smoother. It's just not my cup of tea. Didn't we smoke these a couple of them right when you got them?
Yeah.
And I think they probably are better, as I recall, you know, a month later, but maybe they'd be better in 6 months, but my attitude is if they can't improve in a month to where I really like them, I don't want to mess with waiting around another 6 months. So for me, it's just a 6. It's just nothing that I think I need to smoke again.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, it's a good-looking cigar. You know, it burns really well, but there's just not a whole lot going on. I'd agree with the 6. You know, I would genuinely be interested to see how they taste after several months of aging, but you know, yeah, I'd probably pass on this one. There's just not enough going on to catch and keep my interest.
Well, in conclusion, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. But until next time, smoke 'em if you got 'em.